What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the Real WerD podcast, a place where real thoughts, real ideas, and real words come to life. I'm your host, Drew, coming from San Diego, California. Thank you for stopping by, tuning in, checking out the channel. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, hit up all those links down below. And now we can get into the episode. It is August 26, 2020. It's Wednesday morning around 6:30 in the morning. Welcome in. What do we have going on today? Well, if you tuned in to Tuesday Morning Tokes yesterday, you will know that I am going to be getting into the final article that I was going to be getting into yesterday, but I just kind of ran out of time. So we'll get into that. Go check out that episode. I thought it was a good episode. Pretty informative, I would say. Kind of gave me a well-rounded view of kind of what's going on in the cannabis industry today, dealing with the wildfires, education, health, all that. So, yeah, go check out that episode. I enjoyed that one. Any, news about cannabis or anything like that, I really do enjoy. It's definitely a passion of mine, so I love it. What else is going on? Zach did show up yesterday, so you can go to @the_No World Order podcast on Instagram and go check out the newest Instagram TV episode, the IGTV. And we got into some local stuff around Oceanside with the Rosicrucian Church. And just, that kind of was a branch off from Quest Haven, our Quest Haven episode couple episodes back. And then our next episode, or one of our next times we hit something local, we're going to be talking about the Encinitas Meditation Garden, that whole area, and kind of see if we can find any history or why it is the way it is. There just seems to be some really interesting kind of energy or something with North County, because there's a ton of these like spiritual offshoot type places, and Quest Haven and the Rosicrucian Church kind of had a lot of similarities, and I wouldn't be surprised if there's a connection or some similarities in the in Encinitas as well. Who knows? But I think it's really interesting, especially when we focus on the local stuff. It gets us to know our history, where we're at, and that's pretty cool. Like, it gets us, gives us a reason to actually like focus on stuff in our area and try and figure some stuff out, which is pretty cool. I haven't talked to him about this. This actually just popped into my head. Maybe we can look into the Freemason Lodge that's in Vista as well, and kind of see when that came about and why and all of that. And, maybe do a little bit more of a deep dive on the Freemasons in North County. We'll see. That's just something that honestly just popped into my head. So who knows? But yeah, you can go check out that episode on Instagram. Again, that's @the_No World Order podcast. The audio kind of messed up towards the last 15-20 seconds on my end, on the recording end. So the audio will be, uploaded and everything, but it just kind of cut out at the last 15 seconds or whatever. So it just kind of cuts out at the end if you take a listen to it. But yeah, that will be up today at like 3:30. So yeah, tune into that, or just go check it out on the Instagram if you want to check out the video and stuff. That's I would say it's more recommended, but if you like to listen, then it will be up later on today. What else was going on yesterday? I went on about a 5 mile run, just under an hour. First time I went on like that long of a run in quite a while. The last few times I've ran, I've probably only gone about 2 miles or so, and it's been just hot. So yesterday was good. It was still hot, and it felt good though. It felt good to run and get that exercise in, get that sweat going. Um, Padres ended up losing. They finally ended their winning streak. They had a day off from the day before and then came back yesterday, and they lost to the Seattle Mariners at home, 8-3. So Seattle won 8-3. They'll be back at it again today. So hopefully, the Padres can bounce back and get that thing back on track. And Chris Paddock, man, he has been a struggle this season so far, and that's just kind of frustrating to deal with, just because he was so on fire last season, and there was just so much hype and so much of the spotlight, put onto him, and I feel like that kind of could be a reason why now everything is so highlighted. And who knows, something is definitely off with his pitching. Who knows what it is? I can't really criticize or critique it because it's like, I'm not doing that. I couldn't do that. I don't know what's going on. But it just seems like something's off, and he's not, 100%. And it's pretty evident in the hitters being able to hit off of him and stuff. It's a little frustrating, but hopefully he can get it back on track and just help the Padres win some games. And it's kind of been a struggle so far, but still got to shout out the Padres. Still got to shout them out. They're still the team I'm rooting for. They're still, still got my eye on them and everything. So that's what that is. What else was going on? I don't think much. So I didn't end up finishing watching the Padre game last night. After dinner, I kind of had like a really bad headache. Like right after dinner, a headache started creeping on, and was watching the game, and it turned out to be 8-3, and it's like middle of the seventh, and I just decided to call it a night, go to bed. I just had a pounding headache, and like it wasn't fun just sitting watching the game and watching them lose like that. So it was just like if I didn't have the headache, I probably would have stayed up, watched. I wouldn't really care, but it was just hard to kind of keep my eyes open. My head was just pounding, and yeah, I just went and got some sleep, but man, it was hard to sleep. It's been hot, and then the fan made it too cool, so then it's just this struggle of the hot and cold and don't know what to do. I hate it. It's really frustrating, but that's just how it goes. So we'll get into a cannabis story article here in just a minute, because I did want to continue that, like I had mentioned yesterday on Tuesday Morning Tokes. But first, we'll get into a little dab here. I got King's Garden Jack Butter. So we'll dab on some of that. It's not great. It's not terrible. It's just, it is what it is. It's decent. But I did just clean the rig and everything, so it should be pretty smooth as far as, a hit goes. So that'll be good. Clean glass, clean water, that's all. It always makes for a better smoking experience. That is for sure. Rubbing alcohol or nail polish remover and some salt works perfectly. And then just rinse it out with some water a few times. Get rid of that taste. And you should be good to go. I haven't had any issues with really either rubbing alcohol or the nail polish remover. But it has to be like 90% for each of them. At least, You don't want that. I mean, the rubbing alcohol can be a little less, like 70%, but 90% just works great. It really does. So we'll get into this dab right here. I got the articles on my phone already, so we will just read straight from that. That's how I'm going to be doing it from now on, I think, is just pulling up some articles from my phone, reading it that way instead of just trying to read off of the computer, and then copying and pasting and getting kind of mixed up with everything. So this way I can go straight from the source, tell you who it is, tell you where it's from, who it's written by, etc., etc. And yeah, let's get into this dab. It's that Jack Butter. Again, it's nothing. It's more of like a crumble, I would say, versus like a butter or a batter or something. But yeah, it is still good. Let's get into it. Cheers. Probably gonna cough my head off though. Not bad, not bad. Not bad. Got my coffee. All right. Let's get into this. So this article is from the Chicago Tribune, by Kate Madonna Hines, The Fresh Toast, from August 24th. So this says, as cannabis continues to become legal all over the United States, more and more research is coming to light about its effect on the human body. Known to raise blood pressure while creating a mellow high that can relieve some forms of anxiety, cannabis has been widely discussed because of how it affects the heart. A new study featured in the Journal of the American College of Cardiology shared over 2 million individuals with a heart condition used cannabis in the past year. Since its Schedule I classification, marijuana studies have been hindered by a lack of knowledge and support, but new information appears to contradict earlier findings that marijuana and CBD are to be avoided for certain people with heart conditions. So that's really interesting. Because, you know, just like always with anything, any drug, anything really, like it's gonna affect everybody different. So for people to put a blanket statement, oh, if you have a heart problem, you shouldn't be using this X or whatever. So in this case, cannabis. If you have a heart problem, you shouldn't be using cannabis. But it's like everybody works a little differently. So to put a blanket statement on that just doesn't make sense. But I get it. This probably comes from a time where they were trying to demonize cannabis and all of that. But it's just interesting because, like, I've known a handful of people who don't do well with cannabis, who, when they do smoke it, their heart starts, like, pounding. They kind of have a panic or an anxiety attack, and they just start freaking out. Or this one guy I knew would always have to take a shower afterwards, like, after a few hits or something, like, you know, so it affects everybody different. And, yeah, so we'll just get into it. We'll see what more they talk about. For those living with AFib or atrial fibrillation, a heart disorder associated with an irregular heartbeat, decreasing chances of heart failure is a must. New research is suggesting cannabis is not as detrimental as originally thought when ingested or smoked. So that's interesting. Even smoked, it's not as bad. So, all right. But I know the heart, lungs, heart, I don't know. Is it all connected? I'm sure it is, but lungs aren't the heart, so I wouldn't see why it would affect the heart. I don't know. Maybe for blood flow. I think that's what they get into. But anyway, in a 2017 study, Researchers analyzed data for heart failure between 2007 and 2014 from 24,000 individuals who were active users of cannabis. Their findings turned heads of scientists and heart doctors everywhere. They found that individuals with heart failure who ingested marijuana were less likely to die in the hospital for those that did not partake in the hospital stays that were often shorter. Comparing data points such as health, length of stay, and mortality from cannabis users and to non-users, researchers found that the odds for AFib decrease with cannabis users. That is so fascinating. That's so interesting, man. I mean, I know it's just kind of like I was going to say a small sample size, but 24,000 individuals, that's not that small, but in the grand scheme of a world population, that's definitely a very small thing. But we can't even do these studies because of it being a Schedule 1, so, or have it done properly. So I just don't know, but that's really interesting. Even smoking it, like, it's crazy. Very, very crazy. Let's keep going. It says the fresh toast has covered heart health and cannabis before, showcasing an earlier study published in the journal Neuropsychopharmacology that found heavy cannabis users have a lower risk of stroke because of blood and oxygen flow. Interestingly, a new study published in the Journal of Psychopharmacology also found that CBD influenced a better blood flow in the brain, helping to elevate health. Again, all very interesting and fascinating stuff. Very, very interesting. And again, it just shows why we need to deschedule or reschedule cannabis and be able to get these studies done to be able to potentially save lives, man. Like, come on. Like, stop. Like, this big pharma, like, really needs to stop getting in the way. And this old school mindset just needs to go away, man. Like, it's pretty crazy. It is pretty crazy. Yeah, so that was kind of the last article I had for yesterday that I just, I wasn't quite able to get to, but I did say I was going to get to it today. So for anybody who checked that out and came back for it, I appreciate it. And now we will get into a couple more articles and a couple more stories and everything like that. So this one's really interesting. I've been hearing about this for, I want to say a couple years now, a few years now. I don't know exactly how long it's been on my radar, but I know this is kind of the second wave or so, maybe the third wave. I've heard this thing going on with Britney Spears, and her conservatorship and her father not, relinquishing it, and Britney wanting to be out of that conservatorship, and it's just a mess, man. Like, her Instagram is really strange. The voice is like sped up from what it seems like. Things are just really strange with her in that situation. And yeah, who knows what's really going on there. I'm going to read this article, but I'm just kind of giving you a background. Like, probably a few years ago, I heard about this from somewhere. And it was when a couple years back, she had this kind of breakdown or something. I don't know exactly what happened, but there was some stuff going on online, and her mom was chiming in saying, like, liking certain, like, free Britney posts and stuff. So there was some weird stuff going on. I don't exactly remember when or what it had to do with, but people were saying, like, Britney was being held, like, without her consent, basically, and was being held in a mental hospital and kind of being, danced around, showed around when needed. And then, like I said, I think her mom was going around liking some of these posts and stuff, and maybe trying to bring like some sort of awareness. And then, like, all of a sudden, life keeps moving, and you didn't hear anything about it for a while. And then I remember hearing about it again. Someone brought it up, I think on the radio or something. And then I was talking to it with one of my coworkers in the office one day. So that was the second kind of time, but I think it had to do with the first time I heard it, probably a month or two prior. And now we're jump like a year and a half, something like that. And here we are again, kind of dealing with the same stuff. She's putting out these weird videos, man. Like I said, on her Instagram, it's just really strange. People have said, like, if you look in the comments or something, people will like say, wear yellow if you're in trouble next video or something like that. And then next video, she's wearing yellow or something. One of the things, I can't verify this. I'm just, this is what I've been told has been going on. And I've seen some of the videos and stuff. So it's like, I can see something is clearly off, man. Like 100%. Something is not right there. But, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with it. It's just, it's really interesting. People said like something like, oh, something about a bird or a bird cage, and then in one of the next videos there was a bird cage. And so it seems like she's listening to the comments, or maybe it's just trolling and playing into it. Who knows, man? I don't really know, but it seems like she really wants out of this conservatorship. But it just we'll see what happens. Like I said, I'll get into this article right now. So this is from the Los Angeles Times, and I'm reading it from Yahoo News. Britney Spears' sister makes move to control pop star's assets. Britney Spears' sister, Jamie Lynn Spears, who was selected as trustee of the pop superstar's multi-million-dollar estate 2 years ago, is now seeking more control over the performer's fortune amid an increasingly heated struggle over a complicated conservatorship. In a court filing last week, Jamie Lynn Spears, a 29-year-old former Nickelodeon star, revealed that she was a trustee of the estate and asked that all assets of the SJB Revocable Trust be moved into one or more accounts with Fidelity Brokerage Services with her as the custodian. If approved, the move would put Britney Spears' financial assets into those accounts and require a judge's approval to remove them. The singer established the trust in 2004 to protect her children's future. A 2018 amendment said that upon her death, the trustee, Jamie Lynn Spears, would administer the family's assets for her children. Jamie Lynn Spears signed the document last week in Hammond, Louisiana. The filing doesn't explain what role it could play in the ongoing battle over the singer's protracted conservatorship case, known in other states as legal guardianship. That conservatorship was extended to 2021, even after the singer's attorney told the court this month that she is strongly opposed to her father remaining the sole conservator of her personal and financial well-being. According to Los Angeles County Superior Court records, Jamie Spears, who has had broad authority over his daughter's life since her breakdown in 2008, requested the reappointment of attorney Andrew M. Wallet as co-conservator of the singer's person and estate. Jamie Spears submitted additional documentation to continue the conservatorship, including checking a box saying that his 38-year-old daughter is substantially unable to manage his or her financial resources or to resist fraud or undue influence. Oh. So that's just kind of a breakdown of kind of what's going on. yeah, it's just it's a seems like a sad situation. I was just trying to see if there was any more information I wanted to go over with it. She's obviously wanting out of her father's rule, and it seems like this battle has kind of been going on for a while. And then it seems like every time she kind of fights this, they kind of maybe throw her, so like admit her into a mental institution, and then kind of get her on some drugs. And then, like I said, it kind of goes away for a little bit, and who knows? It seems like more steps are being taken to kind of get it taken care of, though, so that could be a good thing. I just think, like I said, I just think it's a sad situation, and who knows what's going on. You know, being a Disney star growing up in that whole Mickey Mouse Club teenage singer. She was like, dude, she was the first concert I ever went to. I think. I think that was the first concert. I was like 9 years old, had like a super big crush on her or whatever, and yeah, like she was huge, man. It was crazy. Crazy, crazy. Um and who knows what, you can only speculate, and that's why there's these. See, these are conspiracy theories, like things about the Mickey Mouse Club and them being kind of under mind control. We do know MK Ultra was a thing, so that is real, but it's speculating on who has been used and who has had it done on them and for what purpose and all that. So it's like that's where conspiracy theories come in, where it's more like trying to connect the dots and maybe see, oh, this could be why, and da 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 da. But those are theories to me. Those are true conspiracy theories. But like a lot of major stuff that I get into and talk about is usually backed up by facts and documents and things like that. But when we're talking about like Disney stars being under mind control or used, or things like that, it's all kind of speculation and theories. So I have to kind of preface it with that 100%. But it just seems like Disney and that whole kind of that scene, that the kid celebrity scene, kid star scene, is just a very gross thing. I mean, you can see it with the new thing going on right now with Netflix and that movie Cuties or whatever. Dude, how are they still going to let that stream on their platform? It's like Sam Tripoli's right, dude. Like they were so quick to pull Chris D'Elia and Brian Callen's new show and try and distance themselves from that whole situation for being like having these allegations and things like that. And who knows what's gonna happen with Brian. From my understanding, the Chris D'Elia thing, we haven't heard anything of it. He's been pretty silent, which is interesting. But from my understanding, the evidence that was provided was proved to be like kind of photoshopped or doctored or something. So, both these guys' careers have been really altered and affected in a way. And then Netflix is gonna go have this movie or whatever the hell it is about 11-year-olds twerking. And I read somewhere like they spent over 2 years and X amount, 100 something, few hundred hours or whatever, watching little girls audition and twerk for them. Like, what the fuck, dude? How awful is this? Like, that's so gross, man. So it's like, it's it only makes sense why people can like have these theories about these industries, like the kid industry, the kid actor, the kid entertainment industry, because it's like, dude, and then they try and say, oh, it's like a French thing. And it's like, that makes it okay. It's crazy to me. It really is. It's disgusting. Um, but yeah, man, like, hopefully, Jamie Lynn Spears, Britney Spears' sister, can kind of, maybe be some sort of voice of reasoning and kind of help her out and get her out of that situation. And who knows what their whole family situation's like. Doesn't sound good though. It really doesn't. So that was that story. And if anything, happens, I'll try and kind of come back to that, because interesting stuff. And like I said, I've been hearing about this for years now. And I know, like, Sam Tripoli has done a couple of podcasts, swapcasts with I forget the rest of their names, but there's like 4 of them, and they've talked about this subject pretty in depth. So I would definitely go check out Sam Tripoli's, Tinfoil Hat podcast, and just look for the Swapcasts. And they're usually talking about celebrity stuff, and they've gone into the Britney Spears stuff a few times. So shout out to them. And yeah, man, I'm gonna keep it moving, keep it going on. This next article is from theverge.com, and this says it's by John Porter and James Vincent. It says Elon Musk promises demo of a working Neuralink device on Friday. So this says Elon Musk has said that his secretive neurotech firm Neuralink will demonstrate a working device, presumably a brain-machine interface, at 6 p.m. Eastern on Friday. Musk has spoken repeatedly about his belief that BMI devices are needed to help humans keep up with AI by supplementing our brain power. But right now, his goal is much simpler: to create an implantable device that lets people control phones or computers with their mind. Holy shit, we're living in the Black Mirror. It's crazy, man. Crazy. Musk initially announced the August 28th progress update back in July, and has man, throat has been dry the last couple of days. If you go check out the video yesterday, or if you listen to the audio, you'll hear me at one point pretty early on just start coughing, not smoking, not anything, just started coughing. I was talking, and then all of a sudden, like, dry throat just hit, and I just couldn't stop coughing. I was like mid-sentence too. Really frustrating. It took me out for a good like 2-3 minutes. It was crazy, ridiculous, but that almost just happened now too. All right, let's go. Man, just happened again right as I was about to speak. That was crazy. So he initially announced the August 28th progress update back in July, and has now offered more details on what will be shown. He says the update will include the unveiling of a second-generation robot designed to attach the company's technology to the brain, and a demo of neurons firing in real time, though it is not clear exactly what is meant by this. Even compared to Musk's other ventures like Tesla and SpaceX, Neuralink is ambitious. The company wants to connect to the brain using flexible electrodes thinner than a human hair that it calls threads. Current BMI devices use stiff electrodes for this job, which can cause damage, but inserting flexible electrodes is a much more delicate and challenging task. Hence the company's focus on building a sewing machine-like robot to do the job. Eventually, Neuralink hopes to make the installation process for BMIs as non-invasive as LASIK eye surgery, even removing the need to use general anesthetic. Musk has previously spoken about the need for an automated LASIK-like process for BMIs to overcome the constraints and costs involved with needing to use highly trained neurosurgeons. But this isn't ready to be shown off yet, according to Musk. Still far away from LASIK, but could get pretty close in a few years. Musk tweeted in response to a follow-up question about the event. Many scientists have welcomed Musk's involvement in the medical field because of the huge potential of BMIs to help paralyzed individuals with those with neurological disorders. Others have cautioned that his claims for the future utility of these devices are far from proven, and his timescales for progress are overly optimistic. Neuralink said last year it would start clinical trials by the end of 2020, but has not given any further updates on this goal. Neuralink is yet to officially announce how you'll be able to watch Friday's event, but keeping an eye on the company's YouTube channel seems like a safe bet. So that is just some interesting stuff, man. I don't really know how I feel about that, I mean, I know we're already kind of connected with AI, and, you know, I got a computer here, phone here that I was just looking on, microphone, like, so we're already kind of integrated in it, but there's still the human element to us, and there isn't a computer element to us yet. Unless you've had surgery and have, you know, a prosthetic or something like that. But to have something like in the brain like this, I don't really know how I feel, man. Like, for advancement to help people, like, I understand that's pretty awesome, that's cool, but he's talking about like being able to control computers and phones with your mind and stuff like that. And I know on Joe Rogan's podcast, when he was talking about this, he was talking like how we can just then have like a universal language, or be able to kind of read each other's thoughts, or, you know, just, it would make communication a lot more simple and more stripped down. So, you know, I can see benefits from it, but also it seems very terrifying, and we're merging with the machines, and yeah, I don't really like that aspect of it at all. So definitely keep an eye on it. I think it's funny how there's kind of haters. There's like, oh, he's super over ambitious, his time scale is not right, and oh, he doesn't know what he's talking about. You can kind of hear that in some of the article, like from some of the other people. It's like, I was paraphrasing and, you know, projecting a little bit there, but it just seems like there's kind of some hate, and you know, everybody has some haters. If they weren't the ones to kind of figure it out and capitalize on it, they're, you know, there's gonna be people who are a little angry about it, you know. So it's pretty funny. But it's an interesting thing, it really is. But yeah, there's good and bad, just like with everything. With this, it's no different. Really interesting stuff, though. I thought so. Let's move into a little more serious topic here. This is from NBC News. 2 dead, 1 injured in Wisconsin protests over shooting of Jacob Blake, by Linda Givtash and Dennis Romero. 2 people were killed and 1 was injured as shots rang out during protests in Kenosha, Wisconsin, just before midnight Tuesday, according to the city's police department, amid anger over the police shooting of Jacob Blake, a black man. Okay, Kenosha police issued a statement early Wednesday morning confirming that 2 people were dead while another sustained serious but non-life-threatening injuries on the 3rd consecutive night of protests. An investigation is underway and the victims' identities have not yet been released. The statement said no announcement was made of any arrests. The sound of gunfire was captured shortly before midnight in a video posted by a reporter for NBC affiliate WTMJ. It was not clear what preceded the shots, who fired, or how many people were involved or injured. In another video shared on Twitter, which has been verified by NBC News, a man can be seen sitting in the middle of a street aiming a gun at people who were running along the road. One person appeared to attempt to grab the weapon, then a shot was fired, and then individual was seen to collapse a few feet from the shooter. At least one other person appeared to be shot before the shooter got up and started walking down the street. The video did not make it clear what happened in the moments before it began. NBC News has not confirmed whether the incident is the same shooting described by police. One independent journalist, CJ Halliburton, said in a graphic video posted to his Facebook page that he witnessed the attack and rendered aid to a man who has been shot in the arm. He shot the other guy in the head right there. Oh, man. He shot the other guy in the head right there in the road, wrote Halliburton. The protests were sparked after a video shared on social media showed Blake, 29, being shot at close range by police on Sunday. Blake was shot 7 times by an officer, and he is now paralyzed from the waist down, family attorney Patrick Salvi said Tuesday. Doctors don't know if the condition is permanent. Blake was helping to de-escalate a domestic incident when he was shot from behind after he walked away from officers. Co-counsel Benjamin Crump said. Kenosha police have released a few details beyond saying that officers responding to a domestic incident at 5:11 p.m. Sunday that resulted in a shooting. Rayshawn White, 22, who recorded the video, has said he heard police tell Blake to, quote, drop the knife, end quote. White said he did not see Blake with a knife, and it is not clear whether he was carrying one. By early Tuesday evening, protesters had once again taken to the street of Kenosha, a city nearly 100,000, about an hour's drive north of Chicago. Demonstrators threw bottles, and authorities responded with pepper spray, and as they faced off outside the Kenosha County Courthouse, authorities drove armored vehicles through the crowd to disperse people at Civic Center Park near the building. Law enforcement using amplification told protesters they were violating curfew and dispersal orders. Quote, we're asking you to voluntarily comply, a male voice said, quote, please don't destroy your community, end quote. As demonstrators were driven out of the park and into nearby streets, there were confrontations with men carrying assault weapons who said they were defending businesses, including a gas station. A few small fires burned nearby. Earlier in the day, Governor Tony Evers declared a state of emergency and committed to doubling the number of National Guard troops in the city to 250. Kenosha County Executive Jim Krusher and Kenosha Mayor John Adamaran said in a statement that more than 100 law enforcement officers from other parts of Wisconsin were also expected Tuesday night. During Monday night's protests, which spread to other American cities, including New York, Los Angeles, San Diego, Kenosha authorities responded to 37 fires and multiple life-threatening gunshot wounds, according to the fire department. The fires nearly leveled several city blocks, the fire department said in a statement. Oh, man, it's getting crazy out there, man. It really is getting crazy. It is, pretty crazy. So that video, of what was the guy's name? Jacob Blake. There's been a second video that has been released now that has shown him getting or fighting with the cops moments before he, is walking around to his car to reach into his car. He, from my understanding, has had weapons charge or has pulled a gun on an officer before. It sounds like he might have had a knife or a weapon on him. He clearly wasn't listening or complying. Reaching into his car. What are you supposed to do? What are the officers supposed to do? Like, anybody in that situation probably would have had that happen. Then I saw this other people posting this one video, this guy, this white looking guy or something, walking and like not complying with the officer. And I didn't end up watching the whole video, but I'm assuming it didn't end with him getting shot. But I'm also assuming it didn't end with him reaching into his car trying to grab something either. So it's like cops will try and give you as much leeway, depending on the person, but they don't want that to happen. But you need to listen and comply, or else it will escalate the situation and things will get bad. And luckily, he hasn't died. And hopefully this guy makes a full recovery. But there's been no accountability from the media on that side, where it's like, we need to start listening to police officers. We need to start, and they could be in the wrong, but the body cam footage, or you start filming the police or whatever, and just comply. And if they are being unconstitutional, if the cops are breaking the law, fight it in court. Sue them. Make your money that way. Like, it's just, it's crazy, man. But like, a lot of people just don't comply, and then you end up with these situations. And because of that, now it's just 2 more people are dead and another one injured. And it's just so sad, man. I'm going to read some of Elijah Schaefer's tweet. That's at ElijahSchaeffer. He's, an independent journalist, whatever you want to call it. He works for the Blaze TV, but he's been at like a ton of these protests and stuff, just kind of getting on the ground footage and reporting. So shout out to him. I'm gonna read just his tweets of kind of what happened. So, breaking thread: to put the shooting into context in reverse order from most recent video backwards of each clip that explain the story. Clip 1. This is the victim who was shot with a wound of what appears out of the head right before he rushed out in a truck. And then just shows this guy on the ground who is getting help from other people. And it doesn't look good. Does not look good. Clip number 2. Within 60 seconds of the shooting, rioters were attempting to light an SUV on fire at a car shop that was operated ironically by one of the rioters who tried to stop them from destroying his property. Clip number 3. As I approached the car being lit on fire, multiple rioters were destroying a silver sedan using metal bats. And there's just brief little videos, brief little clips on all of these. Clip number 4, about 1.5 to 2 minutes before the shooting, this woman was destroying a Mercedes on the car lot using a hammer. So he is just reporting and just showing what's going on. It's just crazy. Clip number 5, about 2 to 2.5 minutes before the shooting, rioters were using drones and bats to destroy vehicles on this car lot. I believe the vandalism was going on for about 30 to 45 seconds before I started filming. And this is about a 10-15 second clip of people just destroying this car lot. Additional info: the alleged shooter was defending the property. Rumors are another man was shot in the arm, but I cannot confirm via another journalist. I was there when the shots were fired. They were aimed at the vehicle. I filmed the victim within seconds of being shot. Crazy stuff, man. Crazy stuff. Sad situation going on. Everybody needs to be safe. Again, shout out to Elijah Schaefer for actually being there on the ground doing this work. It's it's very much appreciated seeing like the actual news, the actual on the ground situation of what's truly going on and happening. And so shout out to him. Gotta say thank you to him. And he's just the one that I know of and who I follow. And but that goes to any of those independent on the ground journalists doing that guerrilla style journalism, just out there with them, kind of getting those grimy shots, man. It really paints a picture of what's going on. And since the mainstream won't do it, it's something that the people have to do. So it's pretty unfortunate. It's a sad situation, that's for sure, for everything going on right now, man. It seems like I didn't know that these riots hit San Diego. I'll have to look into that and dive a little bit more deep into that. Because San Diego got hit a little bit hard initially with the George Floyd stuff. So, La Mesa got put on fire just that one night. And it seems like things have been pretty calm ever since. But I'll have to check out and see what the riots or protests were. Maybe it wasn't riots. I don't know. Like I said, I'll have to really look into it and see what's going on here in San Diego. But, that Kenosha, Wisconsin thing, I think is really important and, much bigger than what's going on here. I haven't heard about any deaths or shootings or anything like that, or any car lots being put on fire or anything. So, I definitely feel like that story in Wisconsin is much more important. That's kind of where the latest video came out of, so it kind of makes sense. But just frustrating, man. It's a frustrating situation, that's for sure. Especially when people just jump to assume, and it's like, yo, we don't know all the details of what happened with the shooting, but now there has been second video showing of him scuffling with the cops and everything. But we'll see if the mainstream kind of presents it that way. Probably not. They're just gonna say an unarmed innocent black man got shot in the back 7 times. That's all I've been seeing by the mainstream. But then you go online, then you see these other video, the other video, the second video that's recently come out. So I don't know, man. It's getting dangerous out there, and the media loves to manipulate you. And they're doing a great job at dividing people. And even people who I thought were stronger than that, man. Like, I swear, people I thought who were, like, way past all that, they're still saying, oh, cops are racist, and oh, cops are killing black people on a crazy rate. And it's like, okay, man, I thought you were not falling for it, but I guess you're still a sheep as well. And I'm talking about a lot of people, man. A lot of people are like that. So even though they're saying, oh, let's not let them divide us, but then they're like, oh, but cops are still fucking racist. And it's like, okay, whatever. Keep believing it. Let's get into this. This is some Kimbo Slice. Kimbo Kush. Kimbo Kush. Cheers. Kimbo Kush from Arcturus. Probably can't see that, but oh well. That's what it is. And yeah, that was a good little dab. I am gonna get on out of here. Appreciate you for taking a listen, watching. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. I will be back on Friday for another episode of the Real Word Podcast. And tune in tomorrow for Cult of Gaming, live stream of some Call of Duty. And yeah, everybody, until next time, peace.